Hi, Susan. Welcome back to
Hi,
MovieJunk. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad to be here. It's good to see you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what an honor it is to welcome Susan back to our show. Fans of Cobra Kai know you as the infamous Homeless Lynn, who's been part of Cobra Kai since the inception back in season one. You snuck up on us in Disney's Loki, and we got you just in time for the release of Taste of Love, which is airing tonight on the Hallmark Channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I can't thank you enough for coming back today.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad that we could work it out. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, we were just talking about this. You were actually our very first official Cobra Kai interview, and that
Aw.
took place almost like 4 years ago now. It's crazy how time flies.
Well, I'm honored to be the first. So thank you for sharing that with me. I'll remember that.
Amazing, amazing. And the fan in me wants to jump into Cobra Kai, but I want to kick things off with a taste of love.
Yeah.
We have a few familiar faces that join you in this film, if you're familiar. And also, we have the, real life father-son duo with Martin and Jesse Cove, who we know
Yeah.
very well from the Cobra Kai series. So, what was that like?
It was just a wonderful experience all around. I mean, Martin plays my husband. I play his wife, Patty and Glenn Ryder, and we own a restaurant, CC Ryder's Restaurant, which is a real restaurant in the town of Dunedin, Florida, near Clearwater. And we're the owners of the restaurant. I take care of like the front greeting and meeting all of the customers, making sure everybody's happy. And Glenn, my husband, who's played by Marty, is in the back kitchen cooking. And A Taste of Love stars Erin Cahill, who is very popular on the Hallmark Channel, and her love interest is Jesse Cove, and he does a remarkable job. I mean, they're all such great actors, and I was just really honored to be part of the project, and it was a wonderful experience. We had great chemistry. There was a loving energy, generous energy among everybody. And even the people of Dunedin they just welcomed us with open arms. And the hospitality was just so welcoming and very authentic. And it was just a great experience. And I think people are going to love this movie. The cinematography of Florida is spectacular. And the story is really good. It's about love and family and cooking, food, and I think the Cobra Kai Karate Kid family is going to get a big kick out of seeing Martin in such a drastically different kind of character, kind of role. Because he's a great dad, even though he is a great dad in real life and a really nice guy in real life. There's no villain crease in this movie at all. So I think that it gives everyone an opportunity to see what a great actor Martin Kove really is and the range that he has.
Definitely. Yeah. And I remember seeing, some publicity of this film and when the filming first started, a few years back. I want to say it was close to maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years ago now. And when
Yeah.
you first took on the role, did you know that Martin Kove was going to be your husband, or when did you first hear that?
Gosh, I'm trying to think. That's a good question. Because I had auditioned. The casting director Lori Wyman had requested me, and my agent said, "Susan, you're great for this role. Are you going to be in town?" And I was in town, so I submitted, and then they put me on hold. And I think at that time, when I was on hold, I think is when I had heard that Martin Kove and Jesse Cove were part of this project. I don't think I knew that before. So I thought, wow, that would be so fun to have three cast members from a television show in a rom-com together.
Yeah.
And people were just laughed and been so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, Homeless Lynn is married to John Kreese in this movie. And Jesse's character, of course, who's plays a bully tough guy in Cobra Kai, is just a sweetheart. He's the romantic lead, he's the male lead, and he and Erin Cahill have a great relationship on screen and off screen. And in the movie, they were best friends when they were like 5 years old and loved each other and all of that. And then they grew up always together. And then Erin Cahill's character goes off to the big city to pursue a cooking show. And it follows their relationship and them trying to get back together. So it's about love and family and friendship and wonderful cooking and culinary skills, and Martin is in the kitchen. So I think I know everybody's going to love it. It's great. It's a great little movie.
So also too, I mean, with your characters, Homeless Lynn and Crease, I remember there was a small scene, I think it was in season 2, where your characters quickly crossed paths, right? But this is the first time where you guys have extensively worked together. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. It was so funny, and he didn't even know it till he heard me during an interview say it. I think it was season 2, and it's when Lynn is sitting on the curb naturally, and she's spinning that donut on her finger, and she's like, "Donut shop's giving away fritters, but you keep your paws off my bounty." And then he's what does Johnny say? He says, "Oh, can you be homeless somewhere else?" And I say, "Oh, you taking me home with you, baby?" And he says, "You wish." And then I do the cat call, meow. And then he walks off and has some kind of dialogue, Johnny and Martin, and I'm still sitting there with my donut. And John Kreese walks by and says to Lynn, "Well, if he won't take you home, I will."
That's right. That's right.
And I was, of course, I was kind of taken aback a little bit, but Lynn, she's quite formidable, and you know, she didn't know what to say, and I just thought it was so quick and clever on the fly for him to come up with that. Um, but then he said in the interview, he said, "Yeah, that was more of a Martin Kove move than John Kreese move." So it was really funny. But yeah, we've known each other, and we had met. I think the first time I actually met him was at South by Southwest Film Festival. I was out in Austin with Queering web series that you probably remember I was part of, and where I played that bisexual retired dentist. Anyway, I was out there with Queering and heard that Cobra Kai was having a private screening of the next season. And I asked the girl who was doing the publicity out there, I said, "Hey, I've been in that show. I'd like to go and see the screening and meet the guys," because they had never seen me the way I normally look. They had only seen me, in full hair and makeup, full Lynn. And so yeah, I went and I met the guys, and it was so interesting to see everybody's reaction to me, especially the big three: John Hurwitz, Josh Hield, and Hayden Schlossberg. They're kind of looking at me like, is that really her? Is that Lynn in there? And Billy was there. It was the first time I had met him. And I remember Josh Hield introducing me to Martin Kove, and because I've always respected him as an actor and his work. And I don't know, you've probably seen a lot of his interviews. He is so knowledgeable. He's like a walking encyclopedia of this business and of movies, and he remembers everything. I'm like, how do you remember all of that? The dates and the director, and it's like
Yeah.
a vault, and I'm just trying to act like a sponge and soak in everything that I can.
Yeah, he really reminds me of old Hollywood. He's like
Yeah.
like there's only like a few of those, folks left. And
Yeah.
yeah, he is a dictionary. He's kind of like Quentin Tarantino would just like
Yeah.
can recite, like someone will give him just a tidbit of a plot. He'll know exactly the movie, he'll know who started it, and Martin Kove is like that as well too.
Yes, he can recite it. He can quote it, recite it, remembers all of that. And um, but people don't realize, because he's played John Kreese for so long, how challenging it can be for an actor, for a man or a woman, to go to the places where you have to go to deliver that kind of dark villain, response to people. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Um, so, my hat's off to him, just the range that he has. And I hope that he gets more opportunities to play different types of roles, because he certainly can.
No, definitely, definitely. And one thing that I do remember from our first interview that we did is that whenever you land a role, you do your own sort of analysis and backstory into the character, right? That you create. What type of backstory or prep did you do into this role, right? Did you and Martin have any culinary experience, before this film, or besides, like maybe just like stuff at home? Like what were you able to do sort of to prepare for this role?
Right. Well, normally what I do and what I do with this role is I start writing a backstory, how I met him, how long we had been married, a little bit of the history of that relationship, and as Taylor, who's played by Erin Cahill, her life and growing up, and the character that I play, Patty Ryder, is this very genuinely loving wife and mother, and and she and Martin have a very good relationship. They have a great marriage, and they have a great relationship with their daughter, and they have a solid family, and but they have fun, and they like to cut up, and that sort of thing. But um we really did not have the rehearsal that would have been nice if we did, and we didn't really have the opportunity to collaborate with each other beforehand. So I can remember I was, I wasn't nervous. I was a little, I was excited for one thing, but we were just, not long coming out of COVID, and I hadn't been on a set in a while. I mean, these people are working all the time. I think the only thing I had done was like a 7-minute short film of my own, just to keep from losing my mind after COVID, was coming
Just to
to a
stay fresh,
close.
just to stay fresh into it,
Uh,
just to stay fresh, to stay loose.
Yes, yeah, insane, right? Because I need that creative outlet. But um, so it was I was a little bit apprehensive, but I knew enough of him to know that, he's a great guy, and he's a really nice man. So I didn't have any of that intimidation of crease or whatever. I just wanted to be able to hold my own, and I tried to be prepared, and it didn't take long for me to relax. Luckily, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the fans think, if how believable they think we are as a couple. I felt like we were a real couple and a fun couple, and I just hope everybody else thinks the same thing. I mean, I've gotten good feedback from people. They're like, "Wow, you guys have great energy," and just the whole four of us had really good energy. And we have done a couple of film festivals. We were in Dunedin Film Festival just a couple of weekends ago, where we actually filmed, and the four of us, came back for that, and we just had the best time ever, because now everybody is like a family. We're very comfortable with each other. We've gotten to know each other better, and they're even talking about a sequel, so we'll see about that. But every job I'm grateful for, but not every job you just absolutely love every minute of it. And A Taste of Love has just been one of those. And I think it starts with the writing, of course, and then the cast. And then, we had most of the rest of the cast and crew were from Florida, and Florida is my home state. So it was like coming back home to work for me, and seeing a lot of the day players, and the crew, and some of the other producers, and other, the actors. It was just wonderful to be reunited with them, and be able to work in my home state.
Because of the sort of lack in or short timing of rehearsal, were you guys forced to do more improv?
A little bit. It's not, it's, in a relationship, it's not so much what you're saying, it's the between the lines,
Yeah.
info, and your mannerisms, and that kind of thing. Like there's one scene where he had gotten a little injured, and he was trying to get out of doing chores and stuff, and Patty wasn't buying it. And so I think, as you relax into a role, those things come more naturally and authentically. So it was a lot of fun to be able to play make believe, right?
Definitely, definitely. And also too, I mean, I know Jesse and Martin Kove have worked on a few projects together. Jesse has become, a fine actor in his own right, as well too. Sort of, what was it like, sort of, seeing him in action?
Oh gosh, Jesse Cove, he's like a movie star in the making. He's like a Cary Grant guy. And I
Awesome.
remember the first day I arrived, I don't think Marty he had come into town yet. I think we were doing a table read, and Jesse immediately comes over and introduces himself and gives me a big hug. And I've got a great big old strong son that is very much like him. And So, he's just so wonderful, and his work ethic is just, it just blows my mind. And I mean, he's, we're watching a star being made because he's so talented. He works so hard. He's obviously gorgeous. He's obviously a great guy and a great actor. And his dad has taught him, I'm sure, everything that he knows. And the relationship that they have is it's really a treat to be around, because they do have such a great relationship. And they did a Western in Parrish, Florida, I think, not too long ago. I think it's called The Gunfighter's Deal, and Jesse Cove is the lead. Martin's in it, and I think his daughter Rachel is actually in it too. So that's going to be fun to see that come out. And yeah, so they love working together. And I think it's special. My daughter was in the business. Well, both my kids were in the business growing up when I would go to LA every pilot season. But my daughter continued for a while and has done some good, legit, primetime work. But we've worked together before, and it is a blast to be able to work with your child.
And even, maybe just the chemistry you were seeing with Martin, towards Jesse, and even with yourself working with family, is it the kind of scenario where you can't help it, where if there's a suggestion that you have to go in and provide it, or do you sort of let them come as their own? Sort of like, when do you know when to go in and when to not jump in to help or give guidance?
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, my daughter Caroline, I mean, she's a better actor than me because she's not as neurotic. She doesn't have the garbage that I have. And she was always a very, very grounded actor. And, I'd have her trying to help me because I don't know, she grew up doing it and I came to it later in life. And I think she's probably always been more confident than me because she's had a great mother, right? Not
Definitely.
that my poor mom, didn't do a great job. She did the best she could, but yeah, no, I never had to help Caroline at all. It was always the other way around. And it finally just got to the point where it's very expensive to try to do this when you're not making a living.
Yeah.
And so she had to get a real job to pay her bills. And, she graduated from LMU out in LA. And we did the acting in New York, and rented a place in New Orleans when we were both on a show there. And oh gosh, we have had a blast together because we travel really, really well together. And it's just been a fun ride. But no, like I had a call back today, and I'm over here at the beach near her house. And I was like, would you come and be my reader and read opposite, and maybe give me some hope? She's like, yeah, yeah. I said that would be a great birthday present for me because my birthday's in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's wonderful when you have that common, love and passion. And even though she's not doing it now, she went back to school and got her master's in HR and has been very successful. And now she's focusing on motherhood like I did, but
Mhm.
she can always come back to acting. And she knows that, no matter how old you are, it'll still be there.
Definitely, definitely. And also too, I actually really enjoy reading along with other actors. I've actually been asked and actually helped out with a few auditions where I've read some lines of actors. So if you ever want a different voice, I probably won't be as good as your daughter. If you ever want a different voice, I'd love to ever help out if you ever would need any assistance with that. It'd be an honor.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good to know because that's one of the silver linings of COVID is that 99% of them are all done online now.
Mhm.
And you're not having to schlep up and down all over the country to, go to a callback or whatever. So I appreciate you offering that. That's great to know.
Definitely, definitely. And whether you like it or not, the fans of Cobra Kai, obviously they're going to be lured in to see this film and are excited. What do you want message do you want to give to the Cobra Kai fans that are going to tune in to see you guys? And what about the new audience, the non-Cobra Kai fans? What are they most expected to see in this film?
Well, the Cobra Kai fans, I think, are going to be getting a huge kick out of Homeless Lynn and John Kreese being this, happily married couple. And, Sensei Kreese being such a nice guy. And, I mean, it's a Hallmark movie, but it's not too soft. It's not like gushing or anything like that. there's a good story to it, and there's some humor in it. And there's a scene, one of Marty's scenes in particular, that where he is vulnerable, which I think people are going to really be impressed. And I'm glad that not only the Karate Kid Cobra Kai family, but the whole world get to see the range that he has. And the wonderful job that Jesse Cove does is remarkable. And of course, everybody loves Hallmark's Erin Cahill. She's beautiful on the inside and out. And I just, I just like to take this opportunity to thank all of the Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans who have supported me, and thank you for always supporting me, not only in Cobra Kai as Homeless Lynn, but in my other works and the other things that I've done. And I've loved it. It's been a great ride, and just looking to, forward to the future. And then to the non-Cobra Kai fans, to the Hallmark fans, the Hallmarkies, and everybody else, it's a lovely story about love and family and good food and good friends, and life is short. So I think it's important for us to stop for a little bit and have some joy and be entertained in a positive way. And, for children to be able to see some family values and decision making and relationships between parents and their children, when it's good, but also when there's, challenges that arise in families, like there always is. And I'm just grateful to be part of it all. And I just thank everybody so much from the bottom of my heart for all the love and support that I've gotten.
Definitely, definitely. And I can't wait to tune in. And also, I always love, meeting beforehand just to, talk, but also once you get to see the film to kind of talk spoilers and also share. So I'm really excited to see the film tonight. And again, for fans, the premiere is today at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I do want to be respectful of your time, but I'd hate myself if I didn't sneak in a few Cobra Kai questions, because it is
Okay, that's okay. We're good.
it is the final season. It is all coming to an end. What's that? What are your thoughts on? Because again, you were there since the beginning, right? So do you
Right.
think that it's finally coming to an end, or is it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I trust the big three so much that whatever they decide, I think is the best decision. These guys have taken this thing from the very beginning when we were on YouTube Red, and to Netflix, the number one show in the world on Netflix. And it's just the writing, and they're so gifted, and it's not like there's just one guy who's gifted and trying to make this a successful show, and honor Miyagi and the whole Karate Kid franchise. But there's three, and they're also talented, and they're also really, really good businessmen. So I trust them. And I think whatever they decide to do is the best thing. But you just never know, because a lot of these shows, they'll end like the sixth season, and then they'll do a movie of the week, or they'll do a movie and they'll continue on. And I mean, what do they say? Cobra Kai never dies. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Definitely, definitely. And I don't know if you're able to share, but has it been officially announced if Homeless Lynn's returning, or we don't know yet?
We don't know. That'd be a good question for the big three.
Perfect, perfect. And
Don't
if
know
you
yet.
if you had it your way, how would you like to see the story close out for Homeless Lynn?
Oh, wow. You know, I've heard a lot of people say, and I kind of think it would be cool too, is if, the last scene, she and Johnny are, sharing a pizza and a banquet, or something in front of the dojo on the curb, or there's some kind of bantering, and maybe she's not as sassy to him. Maybe, she gives a little smile or a little nod to him, because she gives Johnny a hard time. And what was so interesting about the way the brilliant William Zabka played it is that he wasn't ever really that mean to her. Like
No,
when I'm
no.
holding the sign,
He was mean to him.
And I say, you want me to flash my bits? That'll cost you extra. And he said, nobody wants to see your bits. I mean, he could have been like, nobody wants to see your bits, even though Lynn was offended by that. But he was so sweet. He was like, nobody wants to see your bits, and then in the soup kitchen, when I'm like, you stalking me, pretty boy. And he said, no. I mean, I just loved his delivery and his response to her. Even when he says, can you be homeless somewhere else? I mean, he doesn't get back in her face like she's always in his face, because she's like that feral feline, I'm going to get you, rah, rah, that kind of thing. But yeah, if I had my way, there would be some kind of closure between Homeless Lynn and Johnny Lawrence, out on the outside of the Cobra Kai dojo, just like where it started. When the whole Rhea and the first fight, and it was such an honor to be present in that scene in the first season, first episode, where Johnny Lawrence threw his first kick in over 30 something years. And just to maybe toast a beer, a banquet or something.
Definitely,
What do you
definitely.
think of that? Do you like that idea?
That would be amazing. I think it'd be a little bit more exciting if we see Crease and Homeless Lynn.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard a lot of that.
How ironic would that be right after Taste of Love to see
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
together?
Well, I think Crease and Lynn, they would probably have met each other's match. It'd be on. And it'd be really interesting to watch the dynamics between those two characters.
Definitely right, because it was initially brought to us that Crease's character was homeless, so maybe at
Yeah.
some point, their paths crossed, right? Uh,
Yeah, I've heard
and
that. I've heard that people love that theory. They love that theory.
and I
And the
actually
priest, saves Lynn, right?
that would be amazing, right? Just to kind of have the story come, full circle. And I
Yeah.
actually, just by chance, and I think maybe it was when Hayden was working on Obliterated. I
Yeah.
actually bumped into Hayden and Dan, a dude. They were both there. Actually, was able to take a picture with them
Where were
um,
you?
in Vegas. In
In
Vegas.
Vegas. Oh my gosh. How random. What a small world,
I
right?
just happened to be walking by and bumped into to Dan a dude, and then looked to the left, and Hayden was with him too. I was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome, and just had a chance to thank him. I said, I'm a huge fan of Karate Kid, love the work that you guys have done over these years, and I'm excited to see everything kind of come to an end. So that was just a chance meeting, which was amazing.
That is amazing. That's a great story.
Definitely, definitely. And Susan, again, I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, you were our very first official Cobra Kai interview, and I just appreciate all the support that you've given over the years. And I've been a huge fan, and just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm really excited to see Taste of Love tonight for the fans on the Hallmark Channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Excited to see it for the first time, and again, just looking forward to seeing all your exciting projects. And thank you again for joining Movie Junk again today.
Oh, thank you so much. And I did hear Jesse say something about if you don't get the Hallmark Channel, there are other ways to stream it. So you can Google that. And I thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I'm happy to be back on your show. So thank you, and thank you, everybody. Mwah. Sending love right out there to you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.